There's a passage in 2 Corinthians 12 that revolutionized how I understand unanswered prayers. Paul, the man who raised the dead, who survived shipwrecks, who planted churches throughout the Roman Empire, had a problem God refused to solve. Verse 7. There was given me a thorn in the flesh. We don't know exactly what it was. Some say it was an eye disease, others, epilepsy, maybe depression. What matters isn't what it was, but what God did with it, or rather, what God didn't do. Verse 8. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. Paul prayed, not once, 3 times. The man who wrote a third of the New Testament asked for healing and God said no. Think about that for a moment. The apostle who healed others couldn't get healing for himself. But here comes the detail that changes everything. Verse 9, God answers, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. God wasn't being cruel. He was being strategic. The thorn wasn't a punishment. It was protection. Look what Paul says in verse 7, the thorn was given to keep me from becoming conceited. Paul had seen the third heaven. He had received revelations no other apostle received. Without the thorn, pride would destroy him. The thorn wasn't Paul's problem. It was God's solution to a bigger problem Paul didn't even know he had. This completely transforms our theology of suffering. What if some of our unanswered prayers are actually answered prayers in a way we can't understand? What if God doesn't remove the thorn because the thorn is removing something worse from within us? Paul discovered something revolutionary. Weakness isn't the opposite of God's power. It's the channel of God's power. That's why he concludes, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Think about your unanswered prayers. That problem that won't leave your life. That situation you beg God to change and nothing happens. What if God's silence isn't absence but wisdom? What if he doesn't remove it because he knows you without it would be worse than you with it? Paul's thorn teaches us that God prefers to give us strength in weakness rather than deliver us from weakness. Because when we're strong, we think we don't need him. But when we're weak, his power doesn't compete with ours. It flows through our emptiness. Maybe it's time to stop asking God to remove the thorn and start asking, Lord, what do you want to do through my thorn? Because it was through the thorn that Paul wrote the letters we still read today. It was in weakness that he found the power that changed the world. Your thorn isn't your curse. It might be your greatest blessing in disguise. The question is, will you trust God enough to find out?